Suh, dudes? It's your boy UCF Jaguar here, and Doug Marrone spoke to the media for the first time since being introduced as the Jaguar head coach. So let's go into what he said. So press conferences during a combine are usually pretty weird. And that's because that's really the only time outside of the playoffs that you're really going to be interviewed by the national media. And unfortunately for Doug Marrone, if you're not a Jaguars fan, the first thing that comes to your mind is the whole fiasco he had with the Bills, to where he was the head coach there for 2 years and he decided to opt out of his contract. So with that said, there were a lot of questions from the national media kind of regarding what you learned from this experience and how do you think you can become a better person from this. But it was kind of the same old stuff that we've been hearing, so that was kind of annoying during the press conference. But aside from that, like I said, it was just under 12 minutes long, so they really didn't get into too much kind of Jaguar content, really go too in-depth on things. Just it's kind of a weird time for them right now just because, we haven't even hit free agency yet, and they don't even know who the heck's going to be on the roster. They don't know who from free agency they're going to be able to get. They obviously don't know who they're going to be able to get in the draft, so kind of asking questions really related to how this team is going to attack next year is kind of hard since they don't really know what their personnel is just yet. But we'll go over what was discussed right now and what I kind of took from it. So last Friday, the media asked Tom Coughlin what his thoughts on the Blake Bortles situation was. And his response gained national headlines as CBSSports.com reported it, NFL.com reported it, NBC Sports reported it. And his answer to the question was basically nothing. He was non-committal about the quarterback situation. But today when the media asked Doug Marrone the same question, his answer was literally completely opposite, as he pretty much just said that he envisions Bortles to be the starting quarterback day one, and they're going to go forward preparing him to be the quarterback of this team. And if you listen to the words that Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, and Dave Caldwell all said about Blake is basically they all admitted that he needs to get better, but they all immediately said after that Blake Bortles will be the first person to tell you that he needs to get better. So whether or not you think Blake will be a good quarterback and potentially be our franchise quarterback, I really do believe that he is out there working hard because I do think he wants to be great, and I don't think that he's going to fail in the NFL due to a lack of effort. One thing that Marrone said today that was very similar to what Coughlin said the other day was how they need to get better around Bortles. Basically, supply him with a better run game and try to get him some better protection. Now, it obviously kind of sucks that we have to worry about Bortles and his mechanics going into his 4th NFL season, but that's kind of the hand that you're dealt when you draft someone at number 3. It's a high investment, and when you look at the free agent quarterback class this year, there's really no answers for an upgrade, so we got to kind of ride with him to see what he can do in year 4, then make a decision with him from there. But aside from Blake Bortles, one big thing that I thought was kind of reiterated during this press conference was that they really want to be a tougher team. They want to make this team tougher on the field by basically finishing and, from the blocks to your tackles to every kind of assignment that you have, just finish. And they want them to be mentally tougher too. I mean, you saw how badly disciplined this team was last year when it comes to personal fouls and whatnot. But I think they just really want to cancel out those mental and physical errors from last year, then just be a much, much better team. But other than that, he noted a couple of our free agents that are coming up. He talked about Kelvin Beachum and the fact that he still might be able to come back on this team, but I think it's ridiculous to think that just because if you follow Kelvin Beachum at all, he's just so about wanting to play and wanting to be better for his team and doing all that stuff. So if he comes back, it would be more for depth, either depth at left tackle or for him to play left guard, which I think he wants to be a left tackle, and it's obviously not going to happen after we go and trade for Brandon Albert. And he also mentioned how Marrone may potentially come back, but the way it's sounding is it sounds like this guy's going to be more of a fallback plan because I think they're going to really try to make a run at this A.J. Boye to where you have basically 2 number 1 cornerbacks on the team. One of them is going to be a high-paid guy like A.J. Boye, but on the other side, you're going to have Jalen Ramsey, who's going to be a cheap player for the next 4 years. And he's cheap and he's obviously elite. But that was really all I took from the press conference. Like I said, it wasn't very informational. It was really short, and, like I said, it's a really weird time for a press conference just because, they're just now figuring out their assistant coaches, and they haven't even hit free agency or the draft yet. So they only know what about 25% of their 2017 roster is going to look like. And like I say in all my videos, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm having a lot of fun making these videos, and I really hope to be your best place to get your Jaguar news. And with that said, Duval!